Here's a sneak peek of what your Echo can do that we're going to discuss in this very episode. Which one of the characters had a pet cat?
In Star Trek, The Next Generation, the android Lieutenant Commander Data had
There
a
you
pet cat
go.
named Spot. Spot was a recurring character on the show and was portrayed by several different cats throughout the series. Anything else? Matrix Deja Vu.
Hello, welcome to the podcast, and as you can see from our little prelude there, we're going to be dealing with some skills today, or one skill probably predominantly today, but we'll be talking about some others as well, all in connection with what we talked about in episode 234, which is very early, back in early February, about ChatGPT or OpenAI's AI engines and things connected. You've probably been hearing a lot about it in the news lately. Now, these things can be used to generate speech or answers to questions back to us. They can parse the nuances of comments and things that we say, maybe give us lists or directions, generate even like fictitious things like a poem or something like that. So it's pretty cool, maybe even translate into a different language. So there's a lot of really nifty stuff that is going to even generate artwork. I forgot to mention that, generate artwork. But first off, for you new listeners who are wondering what you got yourselves into, we'd like to welcome you to the podcast. My name is David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program here at Goodwill in Southwest Virginia, entering the summertime months here soon. It's starting to get warm out there. Now, you'll find our podcast little nuggetized episodes where we try in 5 to 15 minutes, and I'll try to keep it that way today, where we cover new things, skills, hardware, from every perspective for families, little ones, caregivers, seniors, those with disabilities, home automation things, all sorts of really nifty stuff. But like I said, today we're going to delve back into skills. The skills have really exploded since we did this back in episode 234, where we only had pretty much like 2 skills in the entire store, which were Oracle of Light and Sparks. Now, those 2 skills are still there, but there's a whole plethora of others that are being added of varying qualities. We're going to talk about some of those things today and even take a deeper dive into some of the advanced modes that are now available if you're willing to shell out a few dollars. I spent $1.69 for you guys. So anyway, before we get into that in too much detail, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then we will be right back. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again and welcome back to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you with us here today, where, as I mentioned, going to be talking about skills connected with the OpenAI's GPT. Now, first off, to start very high level, if this is totally new to you and you haven't maybe heard about it on the news, and you maybe have heard some fear-mongering and some weird statements out there, let me lie, the robots are not coming alive and coming to hunt you down, at least not yet. They just really is connected with speech and interpreting human language. And then because of, I guess, the nature of that, the ability for it to run in reverse by taking huge swaths of information, think of Wikipedia and other things online, and it can distill down what it sees as connected with the topics that we've raised and give you very pretty cool answers. Now, sometimes it gets it wrong. Sometimes when this has been encountered, it can even be creative. It'll like go into creative writing mode, which can be fun if you're asking it to compose a poem or something. But if you're asking something like a medical question or something like that, I'm putting this cautionary point up here as all of these skills are labeled for generally mature things, mature audiences and the like that. And most of it comes back to the same thing, which is that you really need to check if it's something really important to you, like your health or something like that. You really need to go and check resources, governmental or medical or whatever the case may be, to make sure, because it is possible that at times it will make up information, or more, maybe perhaps importantly, the information it learned from online may have been inaccurate. It may not be its fault. It's pulling from resources that, well, they just had it written down wrong, right? And so that's entirely possible as well. So we just want to bear that in mind, and I'm putting that right out there. And online, if you're using these on a computer, you a lot of times have easy access right there to click on a link, and it takes you to, .gov.org website where it'll show you the references. So far, we haven't had that really surface yet in my experience with any of these skills where like at the end it says, hey, and I got this from Wikipedia, or I got this from, Virginia.gov, the government website for Virginia. I haven't heard anything like that yet. Hopefully in the future, maybe that will be a paid feature you can turn on or something like that. So let's delve right into this. If you have an echo and hearing distance in my voice, it would be good to shut its ears off. That way I'm not tripping up your echo at home. And it's kind of confusing. I'm doing the demo here and you're hearing your echo trial, probably trying to respond or whatever there. And so I'm just going to give you a chance to shut your ears off of your echo, or it's in hearing distance of me. Could even be in the adjacent room. I got to tell you, my echo is hearing me all the way across the house. So you might want to shut its ears off. Give you a second to do that. While you're doing that, I'm going to tell you a real cool way you can find out more about this stuff as it rolls out. Now, there is a competitor to OpenAI's ChatGPT, which is being featured by Microsoft in Bing online. Now, there is an official Bing skill on the A-Lady yet. Hopefully, it will come soon. It is on phones and smartphones and tablets and stuff, but not on. But OpenAI has allowed developers to develop it into skills, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, as we did back in episode 234, but we had a very limited subset there. All right. Now, the competitor to this, I hope to be able to cover in a future episode, which is Google's Bard, B-A-R-D. Unfortunately, once again, they haven't really opened up their stuff to developers yet so that skills can be developed on the A-Lady. But I'm hoping soon we'll see something like that, because that would be nice to have a little bit of play back and forth and competition, or maybe one's better at something than the other. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, so delving all the way back, or to tell you where you can find about this stuff as it grows, you can go to Amazon.com, change your little dialogue drop-down menu from, instead of shoes or automotive, the very top option says A-Lady Skills. Select that, and then you can run a search for AI or GPT or even Bard if it comes out at some point, and it will search the skill store specifically. And so that's how I learned about the skills I'm going to cover today. Now, when I did that, I got a lot of like little guy developers like Molly GPT, Robin AI. I think there might have been a Raven AI. I can't remember. There was one called Voice Shell. I think there was one called Emotional Shell. There was a few called ChatGPT, which was confusing. They had 2 or 3 that had the same name. Robin Christofferson and Sean Priest on their podcast, The Echo Show, and Robin's Dot to Dot podcast have covered one called My GPT, which used to be in there last week. Said it was really fantastic. Unfortunately, it's been pulled from the store, and we don't currently have access to it. And maybe it's been rebranded as one of these new names. I'm not too sure. But if it comes back up, it floats back to the surface, I'll be sure to cover it with you guys in a future episode. But for right now, I'm going back to kind of the granddaddies that are still there, but have kind of matured a little bit and got better. And that is the Sparks, S-P-A-R-X skill, and the one we talked about before in episode 234, the Oracle of Light. Now, these cheaper ones, if you do play with them, they're cool because they're usually free and they don't, but if there's a lot of volume on the internet querying these things, asking for them, they could kick you out. They may not respond. They may take a really long time to respond. They may, because of cost, truncate their answers. Remember Oracle of Light back in episode 234 did that, like I'd ask it to generate a poem and it would get like halfway through maybe a sentence and then cut off. And that was really incentivizing you later, as it is now available, to buy the advanced mode. So I've already bought the advanced mode. It charges me $1.69 a month. And so, wow, I am a big spender, you guys. Feel free to, support the podcast because big money there, $1.69, but I can shut it off at any time. So I'll probably do that if I need to. But I think for right now, it's going to be fun to play with. Now, what does that get you? Since I already did it and she's not going to be able to explain it to you, I guess I could ask her. But anyway, let me get right to it. It will keep context aware. So, if I ask one question, I could follow up and say, okay, you gave me point number 2. Tell me more about that. Or that second actor you mentioned, tell me more about other shows he was in, right? I can build on the context or draw out the question to find what I'm really looking for. Other things that you could do, Sparks has a unique feature, and I think it is more expensive, and they only give you like 3 tries a day, I think. But if you want to try Sparks, and it mentions too that it has the ability to have access to a picture generating engine, I believe, or maybe it's a query engine. It sounded like it generated the picture, which is a different type of AI engine, but it may be hooked into that. And I would imagine that probably is applicable if you are on an Amazon Echo Show device with some sort of screen or maybe even a TV with a Fire TV stick. Didn't think about that, but that might be another way that it generates the images so you can look at them. Now, after it does it, whether you can do anything with it or not, print it or share it with somebody, I'm not really sure. Maybe that's something we can tackle in a future episode if I scrape together my pennies to maybe buy a month's subscription to that. But today, we mostly are going back to look at the Oracle of Light skill. And now that we've added the advanced mode, we get full, long, extensive answers and that context awareness. So let's give this a try. Alexa, open Oracle of Light. Dun, dun, dun.
I am the OpenAI Enhanced Oracle of Light. Ask me anything.
What are the 3 most popular actors in the television series Star Trek: The Next Generation? Dun, dun, dun. See if she gets it.
The 3 most popular actors in the television series Star Trek: The Next Generation are generally considered to be Patrick Stewart, who played Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Jonathan Frakes, who played Commander William Riker, and Brent Spiner, who played Lieutenant Commander Data. Anything else?
How tall are they?
Patrick Stewart, who played Captain Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek: The Next Generation, is 5 feet 10 inches, 178 centimeters tall. Jonathan Frakes, who played Commander William Riker, is 6 feet 4 inches,
tall,
193 centimeters tall. Brent Spiner, who played Lieutenant Commander Data, is 5 feet 11 inches, 180 centimeters tall. Okay?
Where were their characters born? See if you can get this.
In Star Trek: The Next Generation, the characters were not explicitly stated to have been born on Earth or any specific planet. However, in the series, it is revealed that Captain Jean-Luc Picard was born and raised in La Barre, France,
that's right.
and Commander William Riker was born in Valdez, Alaska, on Earth. The android Lieutenant Commander Data was constructed on the planet Omicron Theta, and his brother Lore was also constructed there. Other characters' birthplaces were not specified in the series. Okay?
Which one of the characters had a pet cat?
In Star Trek: The Next Generation, the android Lieutenant Commander Data had a pet cat named Spot. Spot was a recurring character on the show and was portrayed by several different cats throughout the series. Anything else?
Stop.
Goodbye and good luck.
All right, so just really cool, and I'm going to get back to this here in a little more with a creative genre, but it gives you a neat idea how you could drill down things, construct a list, It could still delineate stuff out of that list, or it could go back and find their heights. Really cool stuff that you would hope that one day here in the near future our A-Lady can do independently. Hopefully Amazon is working on that, Amazon, right? And so that's pretty cool. A lot of really cool things you can do from a generative point, and we covered that back in episode 234, but one thing that I really enjoyed is poetry. Ironically, it just makes me laugh every time, or ask her to talk in some weird language, talk like a pirate or something like that. Alexa, open Oracle of Light.
I am the OpenAI enhanced Oracle
See if she
of
does
Light.
a pirate.
Ask me anything.
Talk like a pirate.
Ahoy, matey. I be talking like a pirate. What be your business on the high seas?
Create a poem about a man named David who hosts a podcast about the Amazon Echo. This is always cool.
Matrix Deja Vu. Place your question one more time, please. Since OpenAI didn't respond to me in time. Okay?
Create a poem about a man named David Ward who hosts a podcast about the Amazon Echo. Maybe. Might have been a lot I gave it,
David Ward, a man of great renown whose voice rings out across the town. He hosts a podcast, bold and bright, all about the Amazon Echo's might. With every episode, David's wit does shine as he explores the Echo's design, from setting timers to playing tunes. The Echo's power, he opportunes.
Wow.
Listeners tune in from far and wide to hear. Shall I continue?
Yes.
David's insights. They can't hide, for he's a master of his craft, a podcast host who's sure to last. So if you want to learn and grow about the Echo's features, don't you know David Ward is the man for you? Tune in now and join the crew. Okay?
Stop.
Goodbye and good luck.
I think she got she thought the aspect of my last name was War, or not Ward. I don't know if I'd said something like that. But wow, it's so cool though when you do stuff like that. It's pretty amazing. You can come back and say, hey, repeat that answer in the form of so-and-so's writing style or the King James Bible or whatever. So it's pretty cool, some of the stuff. So that allows you to get a little more elaborate and have that context awareness for $1.69 a month. So just kind of really cool, really, really, really neat. So just thought I'd highlight that briefly to you all. If you'd like to reach out with your thoughts or suggestions about a future episode, by all means do so at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys on Facebook or Twitter, or you can email us at info@goodwillvalleys.com. I'd love to hear your feedback and thoughts and suggestions. And until next time, it's time to turn the ears back on your Echo. Start practicing some of the many things that you've learned. I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. Let me tell you a bit more. Let me put on my official sounding voice. Ahem. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Phew! Thanks for listening.